Hi, it's Chrissy Miles, and you're watching The Chrissy Miles Show, where I teach you how to take eternal truth and produce extreme results. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to learn to trust again. I've experienced a lot of failures and disappointments in my life, hopes that didn't come to fruition, dreams that didn't happen yet. But today I can say that after learning to trust again, I have so many more dreams fulfilled every day. Things are going right in my emotional health, in my relationships, in my finances, in my life. And it all was a result of learning how to trust again. So subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notified of more of my proven methods to get more out of life. Here's step number 1. You have to learn that you can't really trust people. And as sad as that might sound, the reality is not that people aren't necessarily trustworthy, but that people will just always disappoint you. And that's not a negative comment about the state of humanity. It's simply a comment about how we're all flawed. We all have problems. We all have difficulties that we face in life. And even in our best intention to try to treat people with dignity and respect, sometimes we mess up. Sometimes we make mistakes. But what you can do is to learn to trust God in people. So what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, you have to understand that you need to certainly put a certain level of parameters around the people that you spend the most time with. And in the best case scenario, you'll spend time with people who are putting their hope and their faith in God. Now, just because people put their hope and their faith in God doesn't mean that they're perfect, but what that does allow you to do is it allows you to trust God in people, which means that you are trusting that on the inside of them, there is a motivation to do good, there's a motivation to treat people with dignity. There's a motivation to do the right thing. And when you begin to trust that in people, you will have a better time trusting people in general. So here's a question. Have you ever been in a relationship where trust has been broken and you're learning how to trust again? Let me know in the comments below the difficulties that you've been experiencing in learning how to trust again. Here's step number 2. You have to understand that you can't really trust yourself. In the same way that it's difficult to trust other people because people are flawed, you're flawed too. So don't trust yourself. Never put yourself in a position where you're guaranteeing the outcome for yourself because you just never know how you're going to respond. Any given day, something could happen in your life where you find yourself responding in a way that you just didn't expect. And that has to do with different pain or difficulty, troubles that you've dealt with in the past. So you can't really trust yourself fully, but you can learn to trust God. One of my favorite passages of scripture is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says this: "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight." So in this one passage of scripture, it kind of deals with both 2 and 3, that you can't trust yourself, but you can learn to trust God. So he says here that we need to trust God with all of our heart. And what that means is that you are devoted in your heart to finding out who God is, what his nature is like, how he interacts with his children, and you begin to rely on that consistency of his character and nature. And also in this passage, it says to not lean on your own understanding. And here's why. We all come into this world with a preconditioned mindset, if you will, or a way of looking at life. Then that is impacted by our family members and society around us, and that develops our worldview. Well, our worldview, the way we see things, is really a limited perspective compared to the way that God sees things. God sees all things. He sees everything in you. He sees everything in the people around you. He sees this whole entire world. And so when you are operating from a standpoint of looking at such situations and circumstances from your own viewpoint, you'll be limited in your perspective and therefore limited in your understanding, and you'll have a difficult time knowing how to discern whether or not you should trust someone. But when you learn to trust in God with all of your heart, what that does is it keeps your mind focused. It keeps your heart focused in the right direction, and it tunes your ear into listening to God for whatever next step that he wants you to take. And finally, that passage says that it will lead you on a path that's straight. And what that simply means is it's leading you on a path that's free from obstacles, it's free from detours, it's free from trouble. It's literally putting you on a path of life where things get easier and easier the longer that you're on it. So don't trust yourself, but you have to learn how to trust in God. For more tips on learning how to trust again, I want to invite you to download an MP3 series that I did called The Courage to Believe, and it has a journal that goes with it as well. But when you learn how to believe in the right things and you learn how to understand what's really going on in the deepest parts of your heart and how you can learn to trust more in God than you do in yourself, it's going to help you develop relationships that are based on something more than just an intuition, and it's going to help your relationships go more smoothly. So follow the link in the description and download The Courage to Believe. So thanks for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed these tips on learning how to trust again. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you know somebody who's struggling to trust, share this video with them. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to this channel for new episodes each Tuesday where I teach you how to get more out of life.